Hi, this is Andy, and this is my life in the pits.
So Andy, we know where you're at now in terms of driving, being a Formula D Pro 2 driver, but let's take it way back. What point in your life did you decide, I'm going to race cars professionally?
After I earned my D1 driver's license.
Okay.
In 2005, I believe it was, yeah.
Okay. What was your steps leading up to earning your D1 driver's license?
Just shredding at drift day events. There wasn't much going on back then. It was all just local events, and they had very little competitions back then. D1 came out about once a year to do their event at Irwindale, and they held a driver search each year, so I did that, and I believe on my third driver search I earned the license, and I was a professional D1 driver, and there was only, I want to say, less than 20 American D1 drivers in the series at the time, so at that point I was like, well, this is pretty serious, I should probably pursue this, you know. That's what we did.
Do you feel like the progression now of like Pro-Am, Pro 2, Pro 1 is better now and easier for drivers to get into the series than it was when you started?
Oh, hell no.
No, you feel like it's harder now?
Oh yeah.
You feel like it's like, what makes it harder?
To be a professional D1 driver back in the day, all you had to do was show up to one event and put down a clean qualifying lap.
Right, and you got your license.
There was no tandem, there was no nothing. Then you put down a qualifying lap, there was no real terms as to, or distinctive rules on who got the license or how they got it. It was really up to Sachia and the panel of judges to decide, okay, that guy's good enough, he gets a license, that guy's good enough, he gets a license, that kind of thing. So it was a really gray area, but that's just how it worked back then.
Yeah. Do you feel like now with the Pro-Am and the Pro 2 series, back then, you basically just showed up, you got your D1 license, and you were just slung right in the ring with those pro guys? Do you feel like this helps?
I had a stock 350Z, and I was running against, you know, I was doing tandem with, you know, Kuma Kumbo and Nomoken and all that stuff, so it was interesting.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you feel like the Pro-Am, Pro 2 series helps now? Like helps the drivers build and grow, not just throwing them straight in there? Because I'm sure that's very deterring to a driver going from that to that with nothing in the middle.
There was the driver, you weren't jumping from, you know, doing that qualifying lap into what you're seeing today. You know, if you watch D1 from 2004, 2005, 2003 era, you know, the closest tandems were 3 car lengths off.
Right,
You know, there was zero angle, there was no angle kits and all that stuff, and the average horsepower was probably around 350 to 400.
Days when a Hachiroku could win.
So, yeah. So it was just a completely different playing field, completely different series, and just the way that judging worked and the level of the caliber of the cars. You know, nobody had 2-frame front ends or 2-frame rear ends, crazy shit back then. So it was just a completely different playing field, and that's where the jump wasn't that far, because the skill level at the professional level wasn't that high. I mean,
because there wasn't that many of them.
No.
Right.
No, I mean the D1. I mean, you're talking the level of skill that all the Pro 2 drivers brought today is what all the D1 drivers brought to Irwindale in 2002 or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
You know? So. Minus, you know, like maybe like Ueno and like Taniguchi and stuff like that. The really good fucking
Tarzan Yamada.
But the average, you know, skill was not extremely good. You know, I mean, they were good. They could hit the course. And it was great for back then. But if you took any of these cars from today and sent them back in time to that event, oh my God, you'd fucking blow minds.
Yeah.
You would blow fucking minds. I don't care if it's Pro 1, Pro 2, whatever car here. Even some Pro-Am cars out there. You would blow minds with the angle and the speed and all that stuff.
Right.
It would be crazy.
Yeah.
So
if somebody's sitting at home right now watching this video decides, hey, I want to throw my hat in the ring, I want to get into this, what would you think the first step would be? Like,
well, where are they at? Have they never drifted before?
Somebody that's never drifted, say, hey, I want to try this. Say, I've got a 240 that's just bone stock, I want to get out there and try it and see how it feels.
Buy a bunch of tires and go drifting.
Okay, do you recommend street drifting, local events?
I'm not going to recommend street drifting, obviously, on here.
Yeah.
But, you know, just go drifting.
Yeah.
Get seat time. Get in the seat as much as you can.
And even, I hear a lot of people recommend, even if you can do local events that aren't drifting, it's still seat time in the car. You're going to learn the control of the car. Like even if you're doing things like autocross, you're going to learn how the car is going to react to different situations, which will help you in drifting. Do you agree with that? Seat time is seat time?
Well, I think in the beginning you should be drifting your daily driver so that you're absolutely 100% comfortable with the car. You drive it every day. You know the seating position. You know the sounds. You know the feel. You know everything about that car. That car is part of you at that point. So drift your daily. That's all I can say.
Right.
Get a daily, drive it every fucking day, learn the shifting, learn how the car works, wet, dry, whatever condition you're in, and then you're that much more comfortable when you get to the event because you're in your car that you
Something you know what
day.
it's going to do every situation you put it in. Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, you don't need to build some crazy car. Get it 240, keep it stock, weld the diff, buy a bunch of tires, drive it to work.
They don't have to
drive
be
it
great
home,
tires. You can buy used
drive
tires.
it to the racetrack.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Just seat time. That's your biggest recommendation is seat time.
Yep.
Get a good, reliable car and just tons of seat time.
Yeah, but that's kind of, I think a lot of people are misguided in that sense because they think like they need some crazy car to do this because that's all they see are crazy cars doing it on the internet, and that's not exactly true. You know, I mean, I qualified for D1 driver search with a stock 350Z.
Right.
Stock 350Z is capable of drifting the Irwindale Bank, you know, and that's a big ass corner.
Right.
Stock 350Z could probably hit this course up here if you did it right, you know. 240 with a stock SR could probably hit this course if you did it right, you know, just like when the FD started here and it was basically stock SRs, you know. And,
4AG Corollas.
yeah, you're just fucking 16 valve or 24 valve Corolla and they're hitting the Atlanta course, you know, with 220 horsepower or something
At the most, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the biggest mistake that people make. Oh, I need a good car, or a decent car, and then they build some 400 horsepower thing thinking, oh no, that's a decent car, like, you know, and then they complain about being underpowered with like 400 horsepower. It's the funny part.
It's not it's not the power, it's the fact that you're not using it to
No,
the
they don't
most.
know how to drive.
Yeah.
You haven't learned how to drive the car yet, and you're building a crazy car that is difficult to drive. And obviously you're not going to learn quickly because you don't know the fundamentals, you know. Learn the fundamentals, learn how to drive a car that literally the whole track, your foot is on the fucking floor. That's how the Z was at Irwindale. I mean, my foot was on the floor all the way around the bank, all the way through transition, a little bit of lift transitioning in, and then foot to the floor again. And that's it. So it's all steering inputs. It simplifies the driving style because you don't have to throttle modulate as much. So there's less going on. You're just basically, that's why I like driving like underpowered cars like Corollas. You just sit flat and you just go, you know, and you're sideways, you know. So that's just the biggest mistake I see is people overbuilding stuff, spending years building it, and then they take it out on track, and it's terrible.
Yeah, and they just get frustrated and they lose the interest because they're not the best right off the bat.
Well, they're not the best, and they never learn car setup, they never learn the fundamentals, and they just think that, you know, drifting is one of those things that looks easy, you know. So if you've never done it before, you can look at it and be like, oh yeah, I could do that, you know. I've done donuts before, I've done a figure eight here and there, you know, and like you completely don't understand the dynamics of throwing a car sideways at 100 plus miles per hour coming into a course like this, you know.
Right.
And I've seen a lot of people make that mistake and they just build nice cars and go out there and wreck them, and then they're done. They don't have the money to fix it, and it's over. And that's just the worst thing for drifting because it puts a bad taste in their mouth, and then they don't want their friends to drift, and then it just hurts the whole scene overall, you know. And I prefer seeing a guy with a crap stock 240 shredding than some dude with a really built car that isn't comfortable in it, you know, and isn't committed to throttle and isn't hitting outer zones and is really twitchy and stuff like that. And a lot of the guys who build cars like that, they'll look at their video and they'll be like, oh, that's sick, look at all that smoke, and look at this, and look at that. And I look at it, I'm like, huge steering correction, you missed your outer zone,
no angle,
you missed your clip, you got zero angle, you threw way too much angle right there, you know. But to them, they're like, oh, I'm doing great, you know, because in your head, you're like,
it looks good.
Well, that, and you've never put yourself on a platform with really fucking good drivers before. And if you've never done that, you don't know where you stand up. So you can sit there and say like, oh, those guys suck, or these guys suck, or whatever, but until you've been here and driven here with these guys, you have no fucking clue. You have no idea. So if you're like thinking, oh, I fucking get on people's doors in these second gear tandems, I can go out and do that. Yeah, try doing that at fucking 100 miles per hour with a car that has 800 fucking horsepower, with another car that's 800 horsepower in front of you that's billowing smoke in your face that you don't do in a
parking lot setup.
And a parking lot setup. So a lot of people think they can do it, and they build cars, they do their thing, and they realize they can't, and they either get pissed and leave, or it's just something that I don't like to see. You know,
we've seen this working together too. We see a lot of people come into the Pro 2 series, throw a ton of money at a car and a hauler and everything, and then that's the last time you see them when they don't qualify every round, or they crash the car. That's it. I mean, you just see so much turnover, and I feel like it's like you were talking about. People think that they're going to be the greatest thing right off the bat, and they're not.
Well, that, and it just comes down to budgeting too. Like, a lot of people just don't budget themselves correctly. You know, you don't need a giant fucking big rig to do this, especially at the Pro 2 level. You know, you need a simple trailer, simple team, basic tools, basic spare parts. You know, you don't need spare engines and transmissions and stuff like that. You know, so I think a lot of people think they need more than they have, or they want, or that they have currently, and you know, they spend too much in that 1 year thinking, you know, well, we're gonna do great, we're gonna get sponsorship after this and that, and then shit hits the fan, car doesn't run, whatever happens, and they spent all their fucking money. They're done.
I've seen a quote several years ago from a professional racer, and he said it's better to have 2 stock parts in case one breaks than one really trick part and not have a backup for it. Goes back to what you're talking about budget. Sometimes it's better to not buy the top of the line thing and have a backup that way in case something does go wrong. So any other advice for drivers out there that are just starting out, wanting to get into this?
Don't suck.
Don't suck.
Don't suck.
All right. Well, Andy, thanks, man. Really candid conversation. We appreciate it, man. Thanks, guys.
Alright, so I'm going to take time to thank all my sponsors. We got DTM Fiberworks. They make all of our body kit stuff, the wide body, the bumpers, everything. They've been great to us. Race Tech Services, he rebuilds all our transmissions and differentials. He's an incredible mechanic, ex-Indy car guy. If you ever need anything dog box wise or quick change differentials, he's the guy to talk to. CPR Racing Engines, they built this beautiful comp cams block in here, and it's we've had some issues with it, but I believe that's all on my side and not on their side, so I'm pretty sure they did an awesome job building this thing. We just got to get it running right on our side. ESM, making these beautiful wheels down here. We're going to have a new set of those for the next round. Clutch Masters, always awesome to us, always hooking us up with the clutch rebuilds. They're, I believe we're running their 800 series clutch, and it lasts us the entire season with 800 foot-pounds of torque, or 760, close enough. And it's just, it's a great setup, super grabby, it's awesome. Guys at Hoonigan, they don't really sponsor me, but I like them, so the sticker's there. SLR, it's the angle kit on there, gives us a huge amount of angle, feels completely stock. That's incredible angle kit. I can't stress enough how amazing it is. Injuka Racing, once again, not really a sponsor, but they hook us up every time we go to Florida, and they let us use the shop, so thank you guys. MS Society, National Multiple Sclerosis Society, we're representing them as a help out, and no monetary, no nothing there, just representing them. We got AEM down here, they're kicking us down our intakes, and their dry flow, we make tons of power on it, and we've never had a problem. They've always hooked us up with what we need, and they've been great. Willwood calipers all around, twin caliper in the rear, Willwood Masters with the twin master setup, and their Willwood pedals, and it's amazing the way it's set up right now. It's not too touchy, so I can slam on the brakes while I'm full sideways, and the car doesn't spin out, it doesn't lock up and do a bunch of funny stuff, so I'm really happy with the setup that they gave me. Magnuson Superchargers, of course, this guy right here. That's our power factory, and they've been great to us, and they're just, I can't ask for more from them. That supercharger is amazing. It made the car sound way better, and it's just consistent horsepower. I was very happy to go to that after dealing with switching nitrous bottles every couple laps, you know. We've got driven steering, which is this bad boy right here. Great steering wheel, suede. They got a couple different models, and the suede, the stitching, nothing's come off. We've had that wheel on there for like 4 years now, and it's been holding up perfectly, so I'm very satisfied with that. RHS, division of comp cams, they make the block and heads that we're running on that engine. Incredible race block, well priced, and it's aluminum, it's sleeved right off the bat. You can go from anywhere from, I think, like 360 something all the way up to 490 or something like that. Like there's a wide range of displacements you can order that block. Comp cams, we have all comp cams components up top in the heads, all the valves, springs, push rods, everything else is all comp cam stuff, and they just, I can't thank them enough. They gave me a great deal on everything down to the RHS block and all that. JRZ suspension are awesome coilovers that we've had on the car for 3 years or 4 years, and haven't needed a rebuild yet. External reservoir, they're incredible. Couldn't ask for anything better right there either. Of course, Achilles radial, very important to us. We need those. Gotta have tires, and these tires are, in my opinion, the best in Formula Drift right now. The grip level is insane. The smoke is insane. Again, I couldn't ask for a better product. You know, that tire is perfect. I think that's all. Oh, K1 built. K1 built. That's Curtis over there. That dickhead. Yeah, the crew chief has helped us out. He's kept this car running, and there's probably 10 or 15 times where I would have given up, and Curtis is like, nope, we got this, and sure enough, we got it in the end. So very happy to have him around. And I think that's, Ireland Engineering. These guys, great. Tons of products for E30s, 2002s, E34s, E28s, all the old BMWs as far as bushings, brake kits, all sorts of stuff. So anything and they sell factory parts too. So if you need factory things for older cars, for 2002s and stuff like that, they have all that stuff ready to go. So, Sparco too, kicking us down with our seats and our suit and our gloves, all our safety equipment, keeping us safe on track, keeping my head from flying out this window here. And I think that's it. Anybody else on the hood? No? I think that's it. I think we're good.
Hey guys, it's Cody.
I'm Andy, and this is my life in the shits. That too.
All right, go. Keep going.
Huh? I don't know. What do you? You're
we need to do a
fucking running
serious
this.
one.
I am serious.
It's still rolling.
Oh, okay. We'll just
I'm
cut
not
that
stopping.
out. Oh, okay. Hey guys, it's Cody.
Hi.
Wait, do it up another truck.
All right.
Go for it.
Hey guys, it's Cody.
I like tomatoes.
Me too. Be good for blooper reel at the end. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Hey guys, it's Cody.
My palms are hairy.
I don't believe you. We're gonna be here all night.
I don't believe why they're hidden.
Andy's pooping right now, by the way, just so everybody knows. He's pooping in there.